everybody, welcome back. Now today I have another all new one from Agilite, as you can tell by clicking on this title. And again, what I'm following on this one is there is another large group of the community that has really helped to develop this product into what it is that we're seeing today. I said this over on the dump pouch video that I was very impressed by what you guys did on a smaller product, but I really did want to see what that large community influence does to like a bigger product like a plate carrier or some of those cool bags that like Agilite teased a few years ago. But I'm still interested to see what a bunch of minds all put together and thinking smartly does with a simple product like today. If you follow the channel for a while, you probably already know this, but you can also use discount code TLDCO to save anything over on the Agilite website. If you watch this video and want to pick one up, I can save you a few bucks. But that product that I think you all helped to design is the all-new Agilite Re-Flex Sling. Now, I don't normally do a video on individual slings, like we did that one sling comparison a while ago. And I do have a bunch more slings to show you, like some from Brave Castle, and I think Edgar Sherman finally figured out how to do a padded sling. So I do want to see some of those. I just thought this was interesting. I just ate a bug too, that's fantastic. I just thought this was interesting because so many of you were involved in this development that I just want to see what you guys did. I wish I was joking. Now, I had originally planned to just do this video, since we're just doing a sling, a little bit more off the cuff, and I had actually gone out to the range earlier today, but it rained like the entire time I was there. So we're just gonna do it back here, and I got some of my thoughts from using it out at the range. So no sponsors today, and we'll get straight into my biases. Yes, I love Agilite, they're fantastic people, and if you hate Agilite, you're in the wrong place. So no, we're biased and that we love the Agilite guys and the products they put out, but I think I'm even more impressed by the involvement of all of you out there. With all the tariff nonsense going on too, I think it's kind of funny that Agilite's one of the rare few companies that can still actually hit a targeted launch date. It's a little bit funny. Now, with all our biases though, it's thanks to our Patreon supporters that we can say and do whatever we want without some stupid brand manager or some of those really shady contracts and say you need to promote and encourage sales. So if you like our more unfiltered style, please consider becoming a Patreon supporter so we can keep this whole thing unfiltered and with mess ups that we don't care about. But as always, don't take anything that I say or any other YouTuber says as gospel. We're all biased in some way, and I've learned that a good majority of them have contracts that say in the contract that they can't talk about it. So be aware of that. Do your own research so you can be the most educated consumer possible. So I'm excited to get started. All the legal mumbo jumbo's done, so let's get to the bench. Looking at the new Agilite Re-Flex Sling up close, I mean, it's a sling, so we're not gonna see something totally new, but I can see where we have some interesting new ideas. The first one I'll note is that the QDs are included and the whole thing arrives assembled and ready to go. Please let me know who out there I need to thank for this, because it is just wonderful. You don't know how many times I've ordered a sling or have one sent to me for review, and then they don't have any hardware, and then I gotta go source like 30 or 40 more dollars worth of QDs from somewhere. And I'll be completely honest with you, I don't do that. I probably have 3 or 4 slings that are sitting around just waiting to be reviewed or looked at, but they don't have any hardware, and I'm not super excited about spending $100 on QDs. I'm just not, so I probably just won't. I'll just finish with this. Selling a complete product is huge. It means you don't have to hunt around the website and like figure out where they hid the QDs, or you get it and realize it didn't come with any hardware. You would think when you order a product, and maybe Spit and Raisins needs to hear this, when you order a product, it should come complete. But no, that's actually rarely the case. So kudos from me to whoever's genius idea it was to have everything just included. Now, I'm gonna skip around a little bit to this Re-Flex pad. Here we have a super thin pad made out of this 3D knit material. What's interesting is the pads aren't sewn in, but are instead incorporated into the design, but the fabric itself holds the magic and has this stretch that's actually built into the whole thing, you know, pads and all. It allows for this incredibly unique look, but also giving you some unique utility, plus that iconic scorpion logo along the bottom. But the padding design is also smart in the way the entire sling can flex, meaning you have padding that matches your unique body shape, but in that ultra low profile. I'm sure we'll talk about it when we go into the tests, but you'll see some slings that do this with like the bungees, and they usually suck really bad, and they have like that large bit of material. So what's really cool about the Re-Flex, and kind of where the name came from, is it has that stretchy into it, means it has a little bit of give. So if you're in like the wrong position with your sling and you need to swap shoulders, you have just that little bit of give to get you into that position, but still stay in that low profile and not be all bulky and annoying. Those bungee slings, those are horrible. The pad is also touted as being one of the most comfortable on the market, and I think that's attributed to that same 3D knit material. And I think kind of the big question everyone's gonna say is like, does that pad comfort, like the knit material and the pad, does it live up to the hype? And I have to say, absolutely yes. The sides of the sling are connected into the standard webbing, and we see metal hardware on both sides here. Being metal hardware, if you were to buy this from GBRS, whoo, these bad boys would be like 500 ducks easily. That was a joke because those guys rip you off. Now, if I had to be super picky here, I would mark the back of these tri-glides, as then you have a visual reminder to lock the webbing back over so nothing comes loose. Looking at the Re-Flex hardware, we see a unique design to their adjustment slider. I like this because it's lower profile than most products, well, not being upside down, that's a bonus, but also being nice and easy to adjust. Now, from our previous videos, I've also said that I don't really care about what type of pull tab that a sling has, like generally it's not that important. Now, I will say that I really do like what they call here with the scorpion tail, because it gives you multiple different places you can grab onto and make adjustments. I like that a lot better than just having one place to hook your finger. You can use this any which way you want to. So I thought that was pretty interesting and pretty unique. But that's kind of the whole overview. And we did come up with some different tests when we did the sling thing, when we realized all slings are mostly the same. So the first test we'll do on this one is overall build quality. As we saw in the overview, everything looks insane. This is some of the most comfortable materials with stretch built in, and an incorporated padding that makes sure it provides max comfort regardless of your body type. Design-wise, everything about this sling just looks well thought out. I mean, it's a sling, so kind of like with the dump pouch, it's hard to make me go totally wild, but I am pretty impressed. But I mostly love those of you who are involved in the next test with connections. Having the QDs included is a master stroke in making life easier for your customers, which is oddly rare these days. I love just getting a complete product. The adjustment slider being so low profile but still making quick adjustments is one of my personal favorites I've ever used. The other tri-glides are metal, so you could change these out if rattling against your firearm is a concern for you. I'm gonna warn you though, you gotta be a pretty high level Reddit mod for that to be a concern for you though. You have to make sure your neck beard, like way down here, is long enough so people know how serious you are. I have to admit, I do pretty much just enjoy making annoying people mad. All right, the next test is comfort, and as designed, this is a little bit nuts. The Re-Flex sling has quite the claim with saying it's the most comfortable, and I have to say that it nails it. The knit material is so much softer along the neck, and I don't have these long rug burns across my neck after doing any testing. That's something you likely didn't see when I was doing the other sling testing video. I would have some of them that I was using, and I just have like these long cut marks across my neck, and that was just from testing some of them. I was only using them for like a couple minutes max. Some of them weren't the best. Agilite was smart to pad the sling straight out of the gate too, meaning if I have a heavier or lighter weapon system, the sling can do both roles. We'll see if it's agile enough, like with the pad and everything, to play in that CQB space. But first, so next test of adjustment. I noted this earlier, but I really like the scorpion tail. Now, while I had no issues with any other slings, I did find this is just a bit easier to grab at any of the positions and also stays out of the way. I will say though, to stow this little end out of the way so it's easier to grab and move the scorpion tail. All of the movement was fluid and clean also, no issues. It's good, and I'll be the first one to say that pull tabs are kind of a hype kind of thing, but it is definitely my favorite thus far. Let's move to the next test though and take a look at transitions. This is kind of the big one. Flowing into different sling positions, I think I fell in love with how comfortable this is, but I did have to train just a little bit in order to keep that pad from twisting. But having QDs that locked in place instead of twisting made this a lot more of a non-issue. As I noted earlier, the flex in the sling helps if you make a mistake and you're in the wrong position. Instead of punishing you like webbing straps, the Re-Flex gives you that small bit of extra stretch if you need just a bit more to push into position. I swear to you, I'm trying to wait until the clouds come, and now the cicadas are out. I swear to you, this video is cursed. Now looking at I'm trying to ignore the cicadas. Looking at the last test of our stowage, this is a part where I wish Agilite had some super cool thing, but there is no built-in retention. I used Ranger bands and was able to secure the sling much like we showed with other padded slings in our previous videos. Just be aware the Ranger bands aren't included, and I'm kind of interested to hear why you guys didn't prioritize stowage of the actual sling. I'm very curious about that. Maybe it's because it's just not an important thing to have, and that could be it. But that's the whole sling and all the pieces and all the tests. So what are my final thoughts and rankings? The Agilite Re-Flex sling, much like the dump pouch, adds in everything to what is considered a basic product to give you one of the most comfortable, versatile, and lowest profile pad slings I've ever seen. I can see where the community was involved to make smart decisions on the hardware and Scorpion pull tab. My only complaint is that there's no retention, but even with that, I placed the Agilite Re-Flex sling in S tier. It is wonderful. I know I gave you guys kudos on the dump pouch, but I think that whole community involvement is just so underrated, and I love how Agilite is leaning so heavily into that instead of some of the other nylon companies they just try to convince you that you want a split chest rig to put over your plate carrier. I know I don't want that. I mean, my grandpa may, but I don't. I'll say with confidence that the Agilite Re-Flex sling is my new #1 padded sling of choice. I just think it does a few things a little bit better and is a bit thinner and just more comfortable than my second favorite of that Bees padded sling that I've loved for forever. Those Bees padded slings definitely aren't going anywhere, but I will say that I do want a ton more of these Agilite Re-Flex slings. But I hope this review and tests of this Agilite Re-Flex new product was useful in your purchasing decisions. I want to say thanks to all of our Patreon supporters and YouTube members. You make it possible we can see some of this gear and see how it rates against some products that we've seen before and kind of where it stacks up against other products on the market. And I want to say thanks to everyone that likes, comments, and subscribes. Thanks for staying through me with all the bugs and all the weird stuff in this video. It's been an interesting one. Let me know down in the comments what you think about this sling, if you're going to pick one up, or if you think there's a sling that can beat it. I want to hear about it. We'll do another sling comparison one day. All right, this cursed day is over. Walsh out. We can see some of this gear and come out and test it and see how it trying to shield it. Trying to do my best. Shield the mic from all the cicadas because it's ungodly loud out here. I don't know how I ate a bug, got rained on, and then had cicadas the entire time for this video. It's a great sling. You guys did great. I'm gonna go later.